Let's take a look at a trade review here of ticker symbol W. This is Wayfair. This one popped up on the scanners yesterday right there, and we'll zoom in just a little bit. But it popped up on the scanners there, and this looks incredibly similar to the trade we had yesterday. It was a different signal. It came up on a different scanner. But as far as the technical analysis part of it, it is very similar. And so we see the signal was here, pulled it up, looked at it. It's obvious that it's got a little double bottom right in there. And yes, it did come down a little, but it's bouncing right there, and I felt pretty good about it. Because if we look left, any other time, yeah, it's made a low. It's just gone down and continued lower. But this time it didn't really continue lower. It's almost trying to bounce, or that was my theory. That was my hypothesis on it, was that it was going to, or did want to move up. So looking left, as far as was there anything in the way that would kind of hinder us from taking this trade? Not really. I mean, there's several different trend lines that you could draw here, and it's blown past that one. But not really. Nothing really in the way that we had to worry about. So felt good about it. This was another valley to river setup. We got good support here in the 365 low, or in that area anyways, the yearly lows. So the support resistance looks good. The technical analysis seems to back up the signal, and I was feeling pretty confident about this one if we got triggered. Now, let's zoom in here. So there was our signal candle. We got the signal to look at this for a potential trade, the end of yesterday, which was here. This is today. And so our signal, or our trigger for us to enter the trade, we needed to see it break $48.42. We needed to see that break, and it did. We'll jump into the 1 minute in just a second. It did break it very quickly. But it did. It actually opened. We can see if we look up here, and you'll see the open was at 48.5. So we had a tiny little gap of 8 cents. So when that happens, what we need is for it to fill back down to our trigger level. We don't just enter on a gap blindly. It needs to come back down and fill it. Fortunately for this one, it was only 8 cents, so no big deal. And it also did fill it very quickly within the first minute of the day. So we got entered, or triggered in the first minute. And then again, at that point, everybody should have been on the same page. We were all looking at this technical analysis. We broke it down this morning in the war room. We knew exactly when to enter. And now it's just a matter of when to exit. Let's go over a few different strategies. The first being to scale out or exit out completely into previous resistance. So for this one, the only one that I saw was right here, and it's not much. Let me go ahead and draw it over here. I'd keep doing that. Let's see. Let's go back to price level. It was right there. All right, so if we look left here, you can see how many times, look for not only the wicks, but look at the opens and the closes that get right at this level. So this was a decent level that I was expecting price to react at. This would have been a pretty good one to take. Past that, irrelevant. Price never got up to it, but it did get kind of close. For me, the next one past that point would have been right here. So in that situation, I didn't trade it this way, but if I was somebody who likes scaling out or taking profit into resistance, I would have taken out most of my position here. And then for me, I would have moved my stop to my entry and then just let it run. That's a pretty good strategy. You can do that on pretty much every trade that we have, is find an area of support or resistance that's the closest one that's available anyways. And after the trigger, after we enter, and then exit most of your position there, move your stop to your entry, so you're definitely not going to lose anything. Uh, it's just a matter of how much are you going to make. You could catch a runner like this one ran a good little bit actually above this level. And then if it comes down and goes against you, you've still made money because you've already exited the majority of your position and you get stopped out at your entry. So you don't lose money. So that would have been a good way to trade this one. Would have worked out fine. Another way is to simply, it's kind of the most passive way to trade this system. And I actually enjoy trading this way. And that is, once we trigger, let's set our stop so that we don't lose any money so that we control our risk. And we know exactly how much we're going to lose if it goes absolutely dead south against us. And then just let it run the rest of the day. Again, I said it before, I'll probably say it a lot, that trading that way is a great way to catch some really big moves, but be prepared. Your winning percentage will go down. Some winners will turn into losers, and vice versa. There will be some losers that will turn into winners doing letting it run. But what it does is allows you to potentially capture really big moves, like this one here. We needed to see it break 48.42, and it closed at 54.16. So almost 6 points, almost 6 full points above our trigger is where this closed at on the day. That just unbelievable. Great trade, especially when you look at the range of these recent days here on Wayfair. 6 points was a fantastic trade. So that's 2 of the exit strategies. Let's check out the 1 minute to look at the scalping. And this one here was, you can't really ask for a whole lot more as a scalper. Remember, we know it opened right here at 48.50, and we needed to see it drop down to 48.42, which was right in there. And it did that in the first minute, did it really in the first few seconds, fairly quickly. Now, it did come down to, what was that low? 47.82, so exactly 60 cents. Now, I know that Wayfair it's a sub, or at this point, it was a sub $50 stock. But if we look back at it, it's got some pretty decent range to be a stock that's below $50. This thing has got close to, moving 10% of its, or having a range that's 10% of its overall value nearly every day. So 60 cents for this, especially as quick as it happened, really wasn't anything to worry about, especially when you see it did come and bounce off the 200 SMA and just rocketed back up. So before we get into the profit taking, let me be clear that when you are scalping, you still need to have a solid stop loss set in place. And if you want to, you can still use the stop loss that I recommend each and every morning in the war room. Your position size will be smaller, so your profit will be smaller, but it will 100% help you control your risk, and you will become a more consistent and successful trader doing it that way. So again, have a good stop set in place. This was never based on the stop that I recommended in the morning in the war room. This was never even close to being in danger. And then from here, you want to talk about a scalper's dream or looking to get in and out of a trade quickly. It went the next minute. Was that 40? So about 50 cents. No, more than that. I'm doing math wrong. About 70 cents above our entry, and then just skyrocketed from there. So at 9:30, we triggered. 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes later, we were almost 3 whole points higher than our entry. In 4 minutes, it moved 3 points up in our favor. Fantastic trade. And then even if this was the low of the day, it never, after this first few seconds, after you triggered, you never were in danger. Never were losing money at any point on this trade. So this is one of those that worked out great, and that no matter what your exit strategy was, you were going to make money. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about it. You almost have to try to not make money on a trade like this. And this is the kind of trades that I look for each and every day, where it's based on our signal and the setup. And then from there, we got to have good technical analysis and see some support and resistance. And we make good trades. We make good, educated trades. These are not guesses. These are very educated, very thought out, very planned out. We have good, solid trade plans in place each and every morning. And this is a prime example of that. Turned out to be a fantastic trade, fantastic winner for us, and yeah, I'm happy with it. So that about wraps it up for this video. Again, thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out, really would appreciate it. And with that, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you again for watching. God bless.